Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the after show for issue 18 of The Powers That Be. This one, as we said, was called There Goes the Neighborhood. Um, I love that there was some theory crafting going on in the episode, but I think we're going to get back to that a little bit later. For right now, let's do our stars and wishes. So I'm going to start this time with Ray. Ray, what do you
Well,
got?
all right. So wow. Yeah, kind of got to think back on that. Okay, star all around for the opening scene. I don't think we've done that much comedy for that long ever. That was just like that was also like a little bit scary because I was really pulling from personal experience there. And so I was like trying to gauge that. It's like, okay, I'm playing a character. Yes, no, this really isn't. No, I really don't know what to say. What the hell am I doing? What am I doing here? I don't know what I'm doing here. And
This is not my beautiful coffee shop.
exactly. It was so the wish the accompanying wish is that I can get better with dealing with those awkward moments in character and allowing myself to be that character and figure out what Gene would do rather than just kind of reverting to how I'm feeling, and that like shows through. I'm not exactly sure that was Gene. That was honestly mostly me. Um, but still, that was fun. That was that was a very cool scene and a welcome like change from just the one-liners and the quips and the this and the that. That was neat. Um, let's see. Um, and started Trevor just for character. The thing you backed me up. You backed me up so much on just taking that one step further, being another brain in the planning group and not going, okay, what do we do, fearless leader? Um, and all of you had a little bit about that. ECAT, you did at one point. You contributed in a small way that pushed this amoeba forward. And just like whenever we offer elements, it takes some weight off of the GM's back because we're doing the storytelling, and you just have to decide, Patrick, like, when to throw the curveball or when to go and as the leader of this group, I don't have to try to do everything and come up with all of the ideas and set everything into motion. Um, and also Jack, great, Matt, great tech. I don't know what the fuck most of those metals are and just whatnot, but like bringing that element lends credibility. It feels legit. And shit, I'm probably going to learn something from all of this. Um,
How dare we become educational in our game?
yeah, right.
Entertainment!
Use
Uh,
real world physics
um,
in a superhero game.
Right?
and then just Patrick, good God, grandiose, just like different, like that. It's like, yes, I built this whole big thing, and with the what you dealt with last week and what you've dealt with before, and now double door, look at this wing. And we're like, what? So it's not rehashing the similar things or similar tropes. This is completely fucking different. And then having those tie-ins with the characters, and now they're together, and like, you could probably be on a writer's team for something, because this is on a very this is keeping track of a bunch of threads on a very long arc and able to maintain continuity, keeping us in there, keeping these characters in there while still having these grandiose ideas. So just impressed, fucking pressed. What I would like, so one of my wishes would be some kind of um reference chart, a working map of our experience of Excelsior, because I can't retain every 2 weeks some of the places that we have been, the proximity of where they are. And I remember that we did stuff, but I'm forgetting names, I'm forgetting relative locations, and I want my character to be able to retain that. And then another thing, maybe I just didn't check it out, and if that was my fault because it just now came to mind, but like some of these characters and going, Calamity, well, who was that? Oh, the person that helped, the woman that helped us bang bang with the
Yeah.
plant dude.
So it sounds like what we need is a wiki.
Yes.
Wiki, series, Bible.
Yep. Those
Something.
those can happen. Just saying.
And
Okay.
one of the things I think we should be able to do, seeing as we have that in the other hobby, is I think we can use one of the mapping programs to overlay the map of Excelsior on top of the real map. So we can say, okay,
Nice.
over here is where Sunbucks is. And this is where your place is. This is where you had the fight with this guy. This is where
Right.
this thing's taking place.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
you could
worst
make that
comes
to
worst comes to
to a-
worse. I can just take either like Trevor, we have like Photoshop and stuff, and you literally just take a map and create another layer and start putting in the places and stuff. It would be a static image and stuff, but
Yeah.
And it'd be like an actual computer rendering where we only label what's important and what we've done.
yeah.
It doesn't have to, you don't have to create the whole entire world.
Yeah, no, it just
Yes.
literally just be just like, various like bigger and maybe some smaller and stuff.
Like in other
things to
video
be-
games, oh, you unlocked this part of the map, and now you can see that part of the map. It's like, well, guess what? Big bad's over here in Soho or something. Like, well, I guess we're fucking learning where Soho is.
Yeah.
So, really cool, excellent job by everyone. And I am like, as a player with the character, your willingness to go along on my I was really impressed by that last scene with talking about us and everything. I didn't think we'd get to it tonight, but clearly that's what needed to happen, and so it happened. And that was another, it's like it was a different tone. So we are becoming more multifaceted and more well-defined and more just intricate as a group. And that's exciting. That is exciting for what we're going to have to be coming up with in the next 3 to 5 episodes. So well done, everybody.
All right. I'm actually going to take the privilege to go next because I actually have a follow-up to something that Ray said earlier. My star for tonight actually goes to Ray, specifically for that last scene. I know that you've been planning and wanting that for a while, but I think the way that it finally unfolded went really well, and it felt believable, both in its positives and negatives. And I think you conducted that very, very well.
Thank you.
The one comment that I will make about your comment about Gene may know what to say, but Ray doesn't, is you can always fall back on say, I as a player don't know what to say here. Can I make a roll?
Oh, okay.
Especially since you are actually trained in pleasant social interaction. So yeah,
Not me.
yeah, Gene is better at that. So fall back on that strength. my wish, it still felt in the first scene, it felt like we were waiting for Patrick to give us the next bit of plot, and Patrick was waiting for us to discover the next bit of plot. And so I think when we're in that kind of situation, Patrick, I think it's perfectly okay for you to point to someone. It doesn't need to be an intrusion or anything. So Neva, you are on your phone and you happen to check the news and you see this thing, rather than going with the
yes.
does anyone want to check the news? I think while yes, player agency and all that is lovely, that I at least find that personally, perfectly acceptable to move us into the realm of plot.
Yeah, story hooks are
yeah.
important things.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
But yeah,
especially because she's a teenager and always has her electrical device.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone did a great job as always. But I wanted to call specifically out that scene with Ray. Next, we'll go to ECAT.
Well, I'm also going to go with giving my star to Ray for the whole last bit of bringing the team together and stuff. But also a team as a whole for us totally in the first 20 minutes of the game, setting Ray up on a date.
A special side issue,
Yeah, at one point I'm watching Patrick's eyes going, where the fuck are we going with this?
The answer is around in circles.
Yes. But yeah, just I think today being a no combat day, good, nice transition from the heaviness of the last several episodes. And also learning what everybody can do helps us, not just our characters.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. As far as wishes go, I can't say I've got any. I'll get more with this whole Scion and everything.
Okay, is it just me or did like almost none of that come through?
that was real
Not-
choppy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you say that again?
Sorry.
Kat? I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to Paul getting more screen time with this whole Scion thing because Julie, we've all been hogging the screen a lot from her. So it's her time. It's her turn to shine.
Yep, absolutely. Well, on that note, we'll go to Julie next. Julie, what do you got?
Oh. Ray, you gotta start not just for, basically trying to organize the, the chaos that is, this group at the end, but the fact that we kind of through the whole no, Jean's got to ask, the barista out on a date, and even though you were kind of at a loss with with stuff, the fact that you in very good humor, and it was just a whole bunch of silliness, which I think we all I think obviously needed. So
very much.
Yeah. So I have to apologize. Like, my brain, as far as my brain is concerned, it's an hour later and I should be in bed. So I'm pretty much at Narf. Narf.
Point.
Okay. Well, so we'll go to Matt next.
Okay. Well, I mean, definitely a star to Ray for being a good sport with the with the intro there, and also the whole bookend of the comedy of the intro and just closing with the team cohesion that Ray, you are kind of taking on that leadership role and sort of being the heart of the party. And I think that deserves acknowledgement. Patrick, again, I don't know how much of this shit you have pre-plotted out and how much is just madly improvising. But it's working, so another star to you. Yeah, I think that closing scene that we did was really strong. So, props to everybody. I guess as wishes go, yeah, it will be nice to see Paw take the spotlight a little bit more. I think the wiki is a brilliant idea. And we don't have enough of a fan base really to have them do the wiki like Stephen Brust. As an author, I think he the fans have created a wiki for his universe, and he doesn't bother to remember stuff that he's written at this point, which is kind of hilarious. Be interesting to see what happens with the brain in the jar and where that leads, but I certainly there's not a pressing need that can evolve whenever it needs to. And I guess that's all I got.
Okay. I'm going to do a quick plug before we move over to Patrick. This is an after show exclusive. We now have a wiki. It's completely empty, but we have a wiki. Check the name that I currently have up for the URL. I look forward to populating it, and hopefully I look forward to seeing what other people want to do with it as well. So, Patrick, stars and wishes.
All right. So stars tonight, definitely one for Ray, especially for becoming, the Scott Summers of the group, is that, he's working on solidifying his leadership, and which is perfect for the character himself, is that he's trying to get back into the swing of things, lend the experience he has to the rest of the group, because things are becoming more urgent. Bigger problems are starting to surface. So it's no longer, some weird guy with his weird plants on his front yard or whatnot. It's, or, the troll living underneath your section of the city. It's, oh crap, something really major is going on. And, will you take care of it yourselves? Will you call in for help? There's a lot of question there. So I very much appreciate how that's going. And the entire group did a wonderful job with picking up on okay, well, let's do some surveillance, figure out what's happening. What can each of us do to try to figure out what's going on? So I was very happy with that. I thought the pacing overall went pretty well, especially, as soon as the intro sequence started, running off of the rails in just the best way possible. Because you're this is showing part of the group cohesion, that with the point where you can totally pick on each other, especially your leader, just relentlessly. It's just a beautiful thing. So I was very, very happy with that. And so partially to answer the question, I have a lot of notes on the overall, just what's going on in the world and what the world is like. And so I'm just, a lot of the process of this is just kind of figuring you guys are inside of the planetarium watching all this projected, and every once in a while part of the story just pokes another hole into the ball of all of that information, so you get to see something come out of it. So there's a couple big things you've discovered about the world. There's other things where you've seen aspects of it, but I don't have to say oh, well, this is what's going on, because you'll figure it out or you won't. And then, if when things are done, we can, always bring up oh, well, here's the interest of what's going on with STEM. That's, a whole story arc we might have time to get to, we might not. We'll see. Yep. Right now we're focusing on, because I'm trying to keep the focus on no more than 2 or 3 things simultaneously, so I can keep a grip on everything.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So which is the fun thing. So for instance, you'll notice you have what's going on with the order of magnitude, you have what's going on with STEM, and you have the mysterious orange rock. Those are your 3 main story things going on, plus everybody's story arc. as
That's
it's
a
happening.
brilliant fucking villain group name, by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely
Yes.
brilliant. That was awesome.
That was my one superhero group in City of Heroes.
Okay.
As I picked that name, put it together, and I went out and joined up with a group and playing a tank. And one of the guys is like, "That's the best group name ever, man! I want that name." It's like, "Oh, well, yeah, go on one of the other servers, I guess."
Yeah.
So I'm like, so that just stuck in my head because it's a brilliant idea. It's in common usage, but I'm using it completely wrong, and I'm very happy with that. So, and I'm also, I very much appreciate that the group is spending time trying to puzzle out things that are happening and things like what are the motives of the other players in the world that you're with. So, like, so what exactly is Will up to? It's kind of a good question. It's like he's doing some really weird things right now, and so why? What is his goal going on?
Yeah.
And that's something I know what's going on, but you guys don't have any of the information that he knows. So it's interesting with that, and so like I'm very much enjoying that you're trying to piece together all the parts and try to get the bigger picture that's happening underneath it. So very happy with everyone for that.
Yeah, kind of on one hand, I want Crash's theory to be correct because A, I think it would be cool, and B, hey, he got it right. On the other hand, I kind of want him to be wrong because the idea of that actually being the plan terrifies the shit out of me. So, but yeah, I that was actually what I was going to bring up for tonight's little exercise in theory crafting is what does everyone think that Will and the Circus King and the Order are up to? I've already given my thought.
I honestly think you nailed.
What?
I think you nailed it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well-
and it was because it's like the whole question surrounding Eddie, and it's like, well, why do you think we're here? Because they need the hosts in order to survive.
Yep.
Well, why would they do that? Because they need to get from there to here.
And why do
And
they want to leave so badly?
that's the backstory. Exactly. That's the backstory to find out. But right now, like we don't have the luxury of investigating that until we deal with Rikers Island
Yeah.
right now. Because clearly, like, and it could be, it's not that because we were talking about Will. It's like, why would Will need to do anything? It's like, well, because it's probably not centered on Will. Will is just as much as a cog as the Circus King is being for Will in this whole elaborate scheme. So we need to see what Will slash what the Erebus
Yeah.
is that the
Yeah.
okay.
He's Erebus as a villain. So
Okay. So
And
like
Nova is the
Nebula.
symbiote?
Nebula is
Nebula.
the name of his alien. Yes.
Okay.
okay. So okay, yeah. So like, what's we have to look at the negative space. What do they not have? What are they looking for that's going to draw them to do what they're going to do?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's fucking terrifying. Basically using a big amplifying mind control in order to set up portals and then it just have a mass immigration, as it were. And then, why? I don't know, stop it.
Yeah.
Well, and yeah, I think it was the previous episode, or maybe the one before that Patrick mentioned the whole alien invasion thing that happened that leveled New York to become Excelsior. And so
Mhm.
are we seeing that cycle come around again?
Not to mention, how does that play into the gifts, the three of us who received them from STEM
Huh?
fall?
Yeah.
Why were they making us?
Well, and not just us. They're
Yeah.
obviously making other
Right.
supers, and they're also making villains.
Yeah.
And
But the question is, how does that play into the alien
Yeah.
invasion
yeah,
and why?
Mhm.
But so just as a note, at least as far as he knows, Crash was created by accident. As far as he knows.
Right.
So either he's going to be a wild card in that equation, or the circumstances were set up for that to happen, and then that dives down
Mhm.
deeper into the conspiracy theory.
Yeah. And at some point, Nave's going to read the file herself that we stole from the. We stole it. She just hasn't gotten up the nerve yet to read in the file.
This is just a point. Pop always has booze and chocolate stocks, and she does not give a shit that you are technically underage. So
yeah, Crash will happily swipe a bottle of booze for her when that happens.
yes,
and
I'll cover.
Jackdaw has access to a bunch of firearms, and we can go someplace, and she can shoot up some innocent abandoned cars or what have you, and get some rage out. Not that she really needs it with the ice
I was
powers.
going to say, who
but-
needs guns? I got ice.
Yeah, ice bullets. Oh, you can do like a side-by-side comparison.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
There's the
geez.
pairing. So you get Jack to take ECAT for target practice and training and using that science knowledge in order to get her to refine the projectile nature of her skills. That's what we do.
Or alternately, you get it so that if they can get the timing correct, basically Jack fires a bullet as it's traveling. Neva covers it with ice.
He actually has a skill. I'll have to go back and look for it, but it that allows me to imbue something with ice.
There you go.
It only
Yeah.
lasts one turn if I'm not holding it, but I can.
Oh yeah, I mean, I could.
absolutely do that on the bullet.
Yep. Just
Yes,
toss the bullet up.
One
I
thing to remember is any power that you have the ability to make a power stunt off of it.
Yep.
So you can always ramp up what it's capable of doing by just, cranking up the difficulty for it.
Right. And I'm already working on this sort of, tactical overlay for everybody. So not just one person gets the assist, but
yeah.
everybody.
Another thing I think I forget whether I heard this in a video or read it in an article or something. But one of the extra I guess, bonuses to storytelling that Cypher gives us is because the initiative order is not static. It's either you go before the adversary or you go after them. Within that group, it's malleable. So between that and the fact that the players are also the ones rolling the defensive roles, you have a lot more ability for narrative play in that. So you can have things like if ECAT or if Neva and Jack are in the same initiative group or can get there, then you can say, as he fires, I imbue the bullet with ice, or something along those lines. And then having us make the defense rolls also gives Patrick, as the GM, that gives you the ability to say, well, this person is coming at you and it looks like they're going to do this. What do you want to do in response? And that gives us a little bit more chance to narrate the defense, or come up with something completely, off the wall. And just, it's that kind of thing that I think can make combat a bit more narrative. Anyway, that was a complete side tangent, but I wanted to say that before it fled my mind.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything else that anyone wants to talk about, guess about, rant about, unrelated comments about?
I think we're more tender at this point. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then we are going to sign off and get some badly needed sleep because we're all old and broken. So for Patrick, Ecat, Matt, Julie, and Ray, I am Trevor, the Vitruvian Meeple. Have a good night, everybody.
Right.